Welcome back, Edmentum IL. Casey, Jason, and Meredith with you again. We got a frequent flyer with us, one of our favorites. Dr. Mike Lubelfeld's with us again today. How are you, Mike? How are you doing today?
It is so great to see you, Casey. I really appreciate being back with you. Feeling wonderful, enjoying the moment. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm loving the pullover. It brings out the shine in your eyes. For those who don't know Mike, he's the superintendent at North Shore School District 112, where they inspire, innovate, and engage. So, Mike, we just want to pick your brain today. What are you doing for inspiration, innovation, and engagement these days in 112?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I am so proud as the superintendent to stand on the shoulders of the giants, of our teachers, of our ed support specialists, of our administrators, of our community, and of course, of the Board of Education. In District 112 right now, we are acknowledging, affirming, embracing, and addressing the interruption in learning that we had been very accustomed to prior to the interruption in regular daily full-time instruction that we experienced over the past, few months or years or so. And we're really addressing what we're calling interrupted learning, what one of our partners is calling unfinished learning, and what some out there call learning loss, although I will emphasize no one lost any learning, but there's a lot of learning we just didn't measure.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So, Mike, on that note, can you tell us about some of the initiatives that you do have going on to help with that interrupted learning?
You got it, Meredith. Thank you for asking. So we've got a data analytics partner. So we tell the truth with the data. The data tells a story, and we simply embrace it and say, okay, how are we going to intervene? We work on the questions of what do we want children to know? What do we do if they know it? What do we do if they don't? And what do we do if they've already known it? How do we enrich it? So I've maybe jumbled up the questions, but you get the sense. This year, I'm proud to report that we have math interventionists. We actually were able to select and hire 7 teachers whose exclusive job is math intervention at the elementary school level. We also have been partnering with some folks that provide what's known as high-level tutoring. So every child in middle school has access literally to 24/7 tutors, online tutors, and we're getting some reports in and looking at the transcripts. In grades 1-5, where we have a 30-minute daily block called Student Success Block or Intervention Period, we also have 2 30-minute targeted tutoring blocks for an hour of tutoring, in addition to the excellent work our teachers are doing with interventions. We've resumed teacher professional development, with which we actually suspended during the height of the pandemic and the interruption in the regular full-time schooling. We also have recommitted to our work with high impact teacher teams, a return to the foundation of literacy with letters training for our youngest folks, and simply an all hands on deck mentality that we've really embraced since all of this started. Now, though, we're saying, okay, here's what we're measuring and learning. Here are some gaps that we see, some interruptions, some areas we want to focus on. And in mathematics and in literacy, we've got just a ton of concrete, tangible resources, people. We're also flagging and tagging the children in these interventions to measure over a period of days, weeks, and what will ultimately be months to see what impact, if any, these interventions have had. Those that work, we replicate and expand. Those that don't, we simply end and go to something different.
Mike, and I know that it's early on, so you can certainly skip over this question if you want, if you don't have anything to report. But my question would be two-part. One, any early indicators as far as positive returns? That would be one. But then number 2 would really be, how's the community responded to your response at this point?
Well, Jason, I love the questions. Thank you. First off, we are blessed with a community that is very active, highly intelligent, very engaged in education, worried, nervous, and anxious about the impacts on learning across the country. And of course, here in Highland Park and Highwood, they've been very supportive and open-minded to the fact that we are really pulling out all the stops and stopping at nothing to intervene. We have committed to them, the whole community, that in January, mid-January, we're going to produce a comprehensive presentation to the board and community about learning where we were and where we are. So that's going to be the whole kitchen sink of all of this stuff, all the interventions. Early indications, though, are looking favorable. Couple ways we know. One, teacher observations, greatest source of information and insight about kids and learning the teachers. So slowly but surely, we're seeing some teachers with acknowledgement that being in school full-time in person is restoring their faith in everyone's ability to meet their goals. So that's one, that's part of it. Another one is standardized assessment data, which with all its warts and everything, for all it's worth, is showing slowly but surely some little bit upward trends, upward movements. We also do measure culture for staff. We're about to measure culture and engagement for students in November, and culture and engagement for families. So again, in January, I'll have a better hard scientific answer for you. But right now, anecdotally and observationally, and with hundreds of our middle school children already signing up for the middle school tutoring, which was just released a week ago, slow marks of positivity or positive trending right now.
Mike, that's outstanding news. Go ahead, Case.
Yeah, that last piece that he just mentioned regarding the middle school students signing up for their own piece hits right into my thinking about, I was going to ask, about student ownership of their own interrupted learning and their own metacognition of what they needed and how they've come. Can you speak to any of that piece for North Shore 112?
I can. So we've got a student success block, kindergarten through fifth grade at our 7 elementary schools, 30 minutes, really teacher directed, working, going nicely. We have interventions. At the middle school, we're evolving, we're in progress, we're a work in progress, and we're in transition. We have something called X block twice a week. It's not really completely defined. We've got some really cool initiatives. We're trying some things, but at one school, we had a couple students reach out to me and my senior leadership team, which is awesome, but also kind of unusual, questioning, why are we doing this or that? And for who is this for? And can't we just have some time to focus and think and be? And I love that. So I, of course, responded personally and directly to the child who reached out to me. And then some senior staff and the school staff reached out and really are starting to engage in dialogue. Okay, here's what we adults think of this time in this space. Here's why we're doing this. Give us your feedback. What do you want? What are you thinking? And while nothing's perfect, we are definitely embracing that student input in preparing to make some evolution to what we're doing at X Block. Slow and steady. The fact that students feel comfortable enough to advocate to the superintendent warms my heart, and the principal's open to it and everyone's there. Anything we can do to help students have their voice. We do it formally and officially with the student engagement survey. We also just did an SEL screener, BASC 3, to really get and find out our levels of mental health in the normal range. Are they elevated or significantly elevated? And that's another way students can self-report and express on themselves and their own feelings. So again, by no means do we have, the answers, but we're simply trying to ask the right questions and learn as best we can to do the best we can for our folks.
He is Dr. Mike Lubelfeld. As you can already tell, he's extremely interested in helping kids and his community in any way that's possible. However, I will also say, remember, he's a published author, great follow on Twitter. So he's also out there available to help at any time. So I feel very confident speaking for Mike and saying, if you have any questions about any of the things that he presented here today, feel free to reach out to him. And I know that he would be happy to continue to talk with you about the things that they are trying and how they are working out in District 112 in Highland Park. Mike, thank you very much for your time here today.
Thank you all so much. Best wishes to you. Thanks for the great work you're doing for our profession.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.